Hello, world, and welcome to our live stream. I'm Nefarious.
And I'm Frequency Girl.
And today we are joined by the Zaid brothers, or one Zaid brother in particular, Phil Zaid. And he's not here yet. Or Diaz. They're the Diaz brothers, not the Zaid brothers.
Yeah, don't.
No, I don't know why.
Zaid is Diaz
Wow,
backwards.
we're off to a great start, aren't we?
But, hark, I think I do hear a Phil Diaz.
Hey, what's up? Just in time, my brother. How you doing?
What's up? Yes, thank you. Yeah. It's good to be here. Thanks for having us. Great to see you guys again.
Good to see you too, man. You're looking healthy. So you're here to talk to us today about Lost Pages 2. The Silhouette. What?
But before we do, it's time to say hello to
I've
the
been
chat.
saying hello to the chat for the past 5 minutes.
Yeah, but nobody knows that because unless it happens,
The
on screen,
chat
it
knows
doesn't
that.
happen. We're gonna say hi to Peter Retro Palmietti. Hey, Peter. Hey, Collision Bomb. Thanks for stopping in and saying hi. Now I have to scroll because there's lots of chatting. We have a Mo Biggs in the house.
Oh,
hey, Mo
hello.
Biggs. How you doing? We have Noah.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Noah.
And we got Chris Fisk too.
Hey, Chris Fisk.
And we
How
got
you doing?
Chauncey Blackie. That's a name.
I'm scrolling.
I've never seen that name before. I
Blake-
hope I'm saying
I think
it
it's
right.
Blakey.
Blakey? Chauncey, am I saying your name right? Tell me if I'm saying your
Hi.
name right.
Hi.
And we got Johnny Cage.
Hey.
Johnny Cage, JP7s. Thanks, guys, for showing up, tuning in,
Yeah.
watching me make a mess out of this interview. Before we get into the campaign, you've been on this channel before. Everyone already knows you. Everyone's already familiar with your story. But for those who may not or are watching on Facebook for some reason, why don't you give us the Cliff's Notes? Where are you guys from? What do you do? And yeah, like that.
Yes, sure. So I'm Phil, and my brother Brandon and I run Zaid Comics. We've been crowdfunding comics for about 2.5, 3 years now. And we started way back in like 2012 doing our own really crappy comics and taking them to like Wizard World conventions. And that's where the character The Silhouette started. We took a break and we went to college, and all the while I was still writing stories in kind of like short story form with these characters, and the universe kind of expanded into what we're going to talk about today, which is the Lost Pages. Yeah.
Chauncey says, Neff is saying my name completely incorrectly. Freq Girl knows her English and is completely right. Well, that's not a surprise. As Noah said, I can't read. That's why I write.
And that's why you have me.
Mo says the Silhouette is cooler than the Shadow, but that's a low bar. I don't know, man. The Shadow's got that scarf thing, and like Shinobi had that scarf thing too, right? There's something about scarves.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that the Shadow's awesome. I'm a huge Shadow fan. Like on this bookshelf behind me, there's a bunch of Pulp Shadow everywhere. So, I mean, the Shadow is a big influence on a lot of my writing.
Yeah, definitely looks like the Silhouette is inspired or influenced by those characters, but he's not just like that. He's also like, he is a shadow, right? He's semi-incorporeal and can move through the shadows. And we're going to talk about the Silhouette in a few, but I want to know, how did you get mixed up in this fantastic medium we call comics?
Oh, man. I mean, just being such a fan of heroes in general and superheroes, being a kid that watched the X-Men animated series every Saturday morning, then that turned into Batman, and I was huge fan of the Justice League animated series, Justice League Unlimited, and just those epic, larger than life heroes that I wanted to create myself. You know, I'm big into video games all as well, and if there's a game where you can create your own character, then that means I'm not going to play the game at all. I'm just going to create as many characters as possible and just get stuck in a loop of that. So that's how it was playing like City of Heroes way back when that was or still around. So yeah, I just
Dude,
love
that's
characters so
that's
much.
exactly it, man. Like, well, you know what it's like. You'll get into playing something like City of Heroes, and you'll start coming up with all of these ideas for characters and how they exist in a city. It's funny how a property like a video game can just so influence the creative spark, and out of that, this genesis occurs, and you get an entire IP. It was the same way playing Armored Core. For me, I would play Sly and Armored Core on the regular, and just out of playing those, kind of Mavericks was born. So I totally get where you're coming from. But was there a particular book, artist, or writer that hooked you into comics? And I know you said you're a fan of the Shadow. Is there a particular aesthetic that you find remarkable and uniquely appealing?
Man, I love, getting into it early. I really liked not the big forefront mainstream characters, like the weird, wacky characters like the Alpha Flight, John Byrne's Alpha Flight. Like, I love the character Sasquatch. I'm a big Metamorpho fan and Plastic Man, just these really weird D-list characters, which is cool because they're doing like a lot of the JSA characters. I really love Dr. Fate, and he's going to be in that Black Adam movie, so I'm excited about that. Yep. But as for like creative teams, I kind of really got back into comics when the New 52 launched, and I loved like the Court of Owls stuff that was going on there. And that was kind of a gateway into a bunch of older stuff like Frank Miller's Sin City. Like anything Frank Miller is just mind blowing.
Okay. Yeah. I thought Phil froze for a second there.
Yeah, no, we're good.
Okay,
what
good.
happened? Everything good?
No, just for a moment there was a internet hiccup. Noah says Phil's favorite D-list character is Lobo. I don't know. Do you consider Lobo D-list? The main man? Do you consider him D-list?
I'd say C-list.
Bass Stitches.
I mean, in the 90s, he was super popular, right?
Yeah.
He got really big. But yeah, I think they just don't know what to do with him now. And they're kind of stripping everything that is that character away from him. But yeah, I got really heavy into Lobo, but for a while, and still one of my favorite comics is Alan Moore's Swamp Thing. Like, there's so much in that's
writing. Kind of one of the titles that made Moore as famous as he is now. That like kind of kicked off his career.
Mm-hmm. For sure, yeah, that was his big like U.S. title he did, and he was writing that at the same time he was writing Watchmen as well. So
I remember seeing Lobo the first couple of issues was when he was fighting little angels, little cherub baby angels, and just like busting their faces open and their brains and eyeballs were exploding everywhere. You remember that comic book? It was one of the first Lobos that I collected. I saw that. I was like, this is comic books? Yeah. This is wild. And it was great because you're getting that out of something like DC where, you you don't see that stuff. So I really enjoyed Lobo as a kid.
That series had some great some great covers. That's Lobo Contract on God.
That's the one. Yeah. So what inspires you to make comics?
Amanda B. Hi, Amanda B. She says, hey, driving and listening, so talk louder.
We will talk louder, Amanda B. It's been a while since we've seen you. Thank you so much for stopping by. We've missed you.
Drive safely.
We got a Mike Odin in the house.
Hey,
looks like a party over here. It is. Maybe we should start going earlier. I don't know.
Maybe.
7 p.m. might not be our spot. So I was asking you, what inspires you to make comics, and where did Zaid Studios come from?
Yeah, I think just this kind of bottled up imagination. I'm pretty close with my family, and they've always been very encouraging on creation. I always tried to draw when I was younger and would get frustrated because I didn't think I was good enough and stuff like that. And my parents always were a big advocate on imagination. And, I was that kid that would daydream all the time and think of these wacky, dumb characters in my head. And that kind of drove me to put pen to paper, as well as seeing all these really cool comics and cartoons that I would watch. And when I'd read something like Swamp Thing, or I really like the Green Arrow arc that Kevin Smith did, Arrow. Like, there was a lot of emotion in that writing, as well as action and all these characters that I really loved. And I'd read stuff like that, and I'm like, I want to make something that makes someone feel the way I feel when I'm reading this, you know? And I think that is a big part of storytelling, of kind of, you know, imposing your will and emotion onto someone through your writing. I think that's really a special thing that we could do as storytellers. You know, either you're getting that through cinema or video games or comics or novels or anything like that. That is a really driving factor for myself, because then that could lead to someone with their own ideas wanting them to do what we're doing, you know, and then that creates even more.
Absolutely. That's what happened to you. You know, that's what happened to you when you were reading comics. You were seeing people doing that, and you wanted to do it too. So when did you decide to form a studio that spelled your name backwards? You know?
So that was, I mean, my brother's been doing that for a really long time. Like, I think since he was in high school, and he's very much a technical person. He really likes engineering, and he's always been like drawing pictures of cars that he wanted to design, or a new type of jet that he was into, or designing and stuff like that. So he always was like drawing pictures and putting the brand as like Zaid Science or Zaid Industries and stuff like that. So like these kind of like mock companies that would make jets or cars. And when we came up with the silhouette back in 2011, 2012, we just branded it under Zaid Comics, because that was how we were doing everything back then. And this is like the old Zaid Comics logo, as you can see on this
make them big
thing there on the comic. And we always used the hourglass as kind of the logo as well. So we just rebranded the logo, kept the name when we came out with Magic Cop, and that's what we do. Everything we do is under that the Zaid Comics brand, or
so
Zaid.
Basically, your brother's a giant dork, and you have a cool logo and a cool name.
Yep.
What happened to the mutton chops, man?
So that's a new thing, right? So I didn't like the mutton chops. I guess I grew them at the beginning of the Magic Cop 2 campaign. I call them sideburns, but so when we hit 10K on the Lost Pages 2, we did that on Mandy's channel, and I shaved them live while she was there on her stream as a kind of a stretch goal thing. Plus, I needed to, because I was doing a costume that week, so it worked out perfectly.
Oh, Chris Fisk wants to know, is the hourglass logo 2 Z's back to back? That's interesting, right? That's a cool idea.
If you want it to be. I always thought this kind of looked like cleavage.
Yeah, and the other one looks like duty.
A little suggestive, yeah. But no, my brother just dug that. So.
And it's like, because Chauncey was asking why the hourglass logo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. You'd have to ask my brother. I think he just
he's the design dork, right? So Noah says Phil lost all his testosterone when he shaved his chops and started drinking boba drinks. I almost called those booba drinks. I can't read or spell.
I'm a big fan of bubble tea.
I enjoy bubble tea as well.
Well, that's because you don't have testosterone or mutton chops.
Oh my God.
We need to get you mutton chops back, Phil. You were like the paragon of cool, masculine, suave comic books, and then you just shaved them off, man. It broke. You knew you were gonna hit 10 grand too. You had like 512 backers on Lost Pages 1. How are you gonna You knew you were gonna hit 10. Come on.
Well, I had to. I was doing I was doing a costume. I was dressing up as Pitbull, the rapper. He had a bald cap and stuff, so I had to get rid of him. They'll be back, maybe.
That is such a random costume. Why would you do that?
My girlfriend was going as Kesha, and we came into that timber color.
Got it. All right. Cool. So it was to please a woman. I will give you a half pass. I will give you a half pass on it.
But this makes up for it. This makes up for it. Next week for Halloween, we're going to a costume contest, and I'm going to be Marv, and she's going to be Goldie from Sin City. So
that's cool.
Nice.
All right. Yeah.
That's very cool.
How are you going to pull Marv off without the testosterone? Chauncey says Phil without mutton chops is like Bob Ross without his fro. And I would have to agree. It is a signature look, and we're hoping to get him back soon.
And Chris says that Phil is the tall Wolverine.
He is, dude. It's terrifying. I see him sitting down and I think like he's normal height. And then I see photos of Phil and he's like 6'7". It's like, you guys are freakishly tall. I don't know. I know everybody's talked about that, but I'm just going to, pile on. You guys are freakishly tall. So we know Magic Cop 2 was resounding success. I love my cups. I really enjoyed the book. I love my shirt. How does it feel now to be returning to the Lost Pages, which kind of it hit between Magic Cop 1 and 2, right? And that's kind of what blew up. I know Lost Pages 1 had a ridiculous amount of backers. I actually think it was Lost Pages 1 that had like 500 and Magic Cop 1 had like 290 something. So you saw a huge jump and growth when you did Lost Pages 1. What are you seeing now with Lost Pages 2? How's it feel to be going back to that franchise or IP?
It's amazing because it's so cool because this is where Zaid Comics started, with the Silhouette as kind of our, mainstay character. And to do that poll for all the backers from the first book and to see that most of the backers really like the Silhouette above everybody was awesome because that's where we started. That's our beginning. So coming back and doing the sequel is so fun. Definitely a change of pace from the Lost Pages, and I just love writing this character. Having kind of that internal monologue that the Silhouette has. Very kind of noirish,
Rorschach-esque.
Right,
the whole like,
sure.
I see the filth in this city.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's definitely like grittiness to him, and his powers kind of perfectly complement that.
For sure. And I think that this book and series lends so well to comics because it is my love letter to comics. You have, so like you asked me before, what kind of influenced me. And if you look at the Lost Pages and all the different characters, that's the genres that I love and kind of me trying to flex my muscles in those different genres of writing. You have Crimstone, which is 90s bombastic, Lobo violence,
with the Hulk kind of vibe in there, like the super beefy.
The Silhouette, the noir, Rorschach, Frank Miller type stuff. And if you got that first book from the first project, you'll see everything. Pulp, kind of sorcery with Wildcard, all this stuff that I love to write about, all in one book. So to go back and explore this is so much fun. I was
gonna say you did a really good job kind of nailing all these different genres of comic book type and setting it in a communal setting in a city. I always thought ever since I saw him and ever since I saw the backup of the book, like the Ashcan, that you kind of influenced Wildcard very heavily. I almost think to the degree where it's like very close to self-insert, the whole
as myself.
Gambit. Yeah, but you're telling me that you love this Silhouette even more, and I find that that's remarkable because the Silhouette is such like a gritty, and I keep using the word gritty, just like a dark, broody character, almost like an anti-hero. And I look at you and I see Gambit, like I look at you and I see the cool guy. So I thought Wildcard, but
no, yeah, I love Wild. Any day of the week, I'll give you a different answer, and it literally depends on which story or character I'm writing at that moment, because they're all just such a blast to jump in and play around with these characters. Like by the end of the Lost Pages, I just was in love with the Masquerade character, and that's where I kind of fell in love with Pulp as well. And I just can't wait to get to the next books because I get to hang out with those characters again. And you're right. I mean, Wildcard, he's kind of like my Gambit, and Gambit's my favorite X-Men character. So.
Yeah, I mean, like the cool guys, Garrett. He's the Gambit is Garrett's favorite X-Men character as well. Yeah. It's like saying Beetlejuice or something. I just can't say it out loud. But there's so much variety in Lost Pages, and it's like that anthology which blends all of the different styles of superhero comics. And this one, just the silhouette. Does this book have any of the other characters in it?
Oh yeah. So that was something we really wanted to keep around for the backers, because they seem to like the uniqueness of the first book, where you had these multiple characters, different artists. So we made the decision to really try to keep that familiarity to the readers. So we're going to see the hobo, of course, he's going to be telling the stories. The silhouette has, a huge part in this new book, as well as Crimstone. So the backers seem to really love the Crimstone character, so we brought them back as well. We'll see glimpses of the Masquerade, and of course, we have that ash can that's all about our character, the People, which I think it's the perfect timing in everything that's going on with Superman and Captain America to bring this character, the People, to the forefront.
Mike Eden says it's all about the Masquerade and the People.
Yeah, Masquerade's my favorite. I was saying earlier that like he reminds me of V for Vendetta mixed with like magic and Zorro, and just it's such a cool vibe. Mo Biggs says the weirdest self-insert I've read so far was The Embrace. Ogden and Dean both inserting themselves as a hybrid father and son into one character. Has that ever happened before? Mo, I don't like how you used the word inserting in that sentence. Two people inserting themselves into father and son character. I think that is very creepy, and I'm never going to look at The Embrace the same way again. Thank you very much. Odin found that funny. At least he's good natured.
Can't wait for that book. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I've seen some of the pages in the PDF. I'm terrible. I don't check my emails, so
Well, you also prefer reading physical over digital, true. So you usually wait till you get the physical.
I'm gonna wait too.
So tell me more about the artists involved in the Lost Pages and in the Lost Pages 2. I know the first time out you had a variety of different artists. Tell me how you put together that team, but also tell me what it's like now with doing a single book focusing on one character, but having those other characters appear. How are they being drawn?
Yeah, sure. So the first campaign, we really were able to get so many artists because of kind of the success of our first Magic Hop book. People knew us. We started making friends with these amazing artists, and having so many different characters, my brother and I thought it would be really cool to do different art styles with the characters. So, I mean, it was amazing. I think there's 4 different artists on the main book, and then when we expanded to that supplemental Myth of the Lost Pages book, 9 extra stories. I think I want to say 6 more artists were on board, and that's not including the trading cards we had, like from Dan Frega and Kyung Lee, just on and on. The list was crazy. At the end of everything, I think I tallied it up at the bottom of the campaign. There's around, including colorists, around 24 creative artists working on that campaign, which was.
It was very impressive to me. It was also very inspiring. It's almost like, when we were going out and looking at campaigns and I was seeing which ones were remarkable in the numbers that they brought in and how successful they were, you kind of created, I don't know, an example for bringing in lots of other artists from outside and involving them in your IP. It was inspiring.
Thanks.
We try to follow a very similar idea in getting other artists involved. And I got to say, you're absolutely right. It's just so overwhelming and stunning to see what other people come up with when they dive into the world that you created, and they bring out sides of characters and looks for the characters that you hadn't initially conceived. So this time with the silhouette, tell us about the art, tell us about the book. What's going on?
Yeah, so
let's bring up the campaign here.
We loved the fact that we were able to work with so many different artists. And this time we're taking it, we kind of scaled back because we're focusing on one character. But in the book, there are multiple artists. We still wanted to have that. We're kind of taking a step forward in some places in the book. So if you scroll down the campaign, of course, we have this beautiful Preston Acevedo cover. Like this is beyond my wildest dreams of how this came out. You know, focusing on the silhouette.
So creepy.
Yeah,
So good and beautiful at the same time.
Do you want to tell us about that's obviously the villain, right? Is that?
Yes, this is El Dorado.
Tell us about El Dorado.
He's a badass. So he is ex-military turned professional bank robber and is obsessed with ancient gold. He thinks he has like a familial right to it. So he goes and seeks it out. He gets his hands on a medallion that is of Central American origin. And this imbues him with magical powers, which then leads him to accidentally blow the bottom of his own face off with the magic. And that plates his jaw in gold, giving him this striking appearance. And it just totally killed it on that with Preston and Adam Brown with colors. So cool.
I love gold. That's all I can think of, man.
Yeah. Some of the interiors, and is a perfect example of the use of different kinds of artists. So Avery Butterworth is doing kind of our what we like to call the hobo parts of the story. So the intro and outro of the book, and we'll see Crimstone. There's Taz from Crimstone, ready to dispense some justice, and he's doing that pencils, inks, and colors. But at the same time, we have this kind of collaborative experience where if you scroll down, when you turn the page in the book and you see Crim, her imaginary friend, that's drawn by Matt Dalton, who is, of course, doing the covers and big splashes on Viking Wolf, a crazy, muscly artist that just has taken this gore to the next level. So we really wanted to give that reality and imagination to different art styles, and sometimes even on the same page, as you can see here.
That's really cool.
Hey, we've got Ryan Wynn in the house. What's up, Ryan Wynn?
We had a bunch of people come in, like 24 Eyes.
The comic book pirate himself. Captain Wynn. We've also, we have 24 Eyes hanging out in the chat. We have
Christian Fandom
Geek.
Hello.
And
we had a creators outlet before that.
Yep.
I said hi in the chat, but I don't think we.
And Pops.
Yes.
Yep. And we had Pops coming. El Dorado looks awesome. I love the concept. How, if you don't mind my asking, if you can tell us, is this battle going to unfold, and what is it over? What's the central conflict between the Silhouette and El Dorado?
So for this story, I really wanted to expand upon who the Silhouette is. I want people to know that, kind of ask more questions about him, but at the same time, have this kind of superhero story that he's chasing after a supervillain. So, we'll see them meet, and the whole story is about the Silhouette tracking down El Dorado, trying to prevent him from getting more powerful, because he kind of sees this man become a villain, and almost by his hands and by mistake does he unlock more power in El Dorado. As you can see, the Silhouette blasting away at El Dorado's henchmen during the bank robbery, and then we could scroll down and kind of reveals that yellow spot color to El Dorado when he's using his powers. And it's actually, I think on the next page that's not actually on this campaign, he does a big uppercut to him, and that is what causes his face to get blown off. And so the Silhouette is a character that is driven to fight crime just naturally. He is a being that doesn't know his past, and all the while him chasing after El Dorado, he's kind of haunted by that past, ever searching for it. So we'll see glimpses of that, and we'll have more questions that'll be answered in the future.
Chauncey says those are badass pages. Every time I see black and white art, and then I see some yellow streak through it. I can't help but think of Frank Miller and that yellow bastard from Sin City. And I love the fact that you're throwing in like the little tiny touches of red to show off the blood, but then the gold power it takes on that like yellow streak and like the magical energy, and it really does harken back that sense of nostalgia to the Frank Miller book. That's obviously on purpose.
Yeah.
You were 100% playing off that, and I appreciate that too, because instantly seeing that panel, I was like, oh, I got to pick up this book now. He's doing black and white with yellow and gold. It's like, it was very, very smart. That's a great shot of El Dorado too. So what are the stakes here? If El Dorado succeeds and, you know, is at large, what kind of horrible fate is going to befall the city that the Silhouette is trying to stop?
Well, that's the thing that Silhouette is worried about. He doesn't know, right? He's never been up against someone with such power. The Silhouette is very powerful. You know, he could be, you know, he feels pain, but he could heal from it, right?
Right.
We've seen him in the past get shot and the holes close up. He feels it. He could get knocked unconscious, but if he's not prepared for it, it's not going to take him out, except now we're raising those stakes even more. He's never been up against someone with actual powers like this that could affect him, that could actually make him bleed. And we'll see that in this book. I really wanted to kind of put our hero through hell.
Put him in jeopardy, put him in peril. Yeah, that's a great idea, because in the first book, it really did seem like the Silhouette had it up on the bad guys. You know, like he just kind of, the bullets went right through him. He's like, what's wrong with you? I'm living shadow and you're dead. You know, that the guy was trying to rape the woman in the alley.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, I was like, wow, that guy's really, you know, his weaknesses are few and far between. But I love the fact that you're bringing in a character, a supervillain that really can challenge him. And that's always exciting. You know, it's the Superman finally getting kryptonite thing. When you have a weakness and finally those are the stakes, you get a really exciting story. So this is set in the same city as all of these other stories, right? Do you know what's next for you in the Lost Pages storyline? Have you planned out each book already?
Yeah, fairly loosely. Like, I know where it's going. I know the next book we're going to do and which character is going to focus on, and how kind of the hobo is going to intertwine everything. I'm fairly certain about that. And that's what's kind of really exciting about the Lost Pages, where you could pick up the Lost Pages 2 and you could read it as a full story. And now you're introduced to the Silhouette. Or you can go back to the first one and read it, and it'll lend even more to the overarching universe. And that's what I want to do going forward. You know, this one's the Silhouette. The next one may be Crimstone, you know, but that story also will have the hobo in it. It'll probably have a little bit of the Silhouette. It might even have a little bit of wild card to set up the future stories going on until we kind of build to a point where these characters are going to meet each other.
Yeah, will we see a confluence of all of these characters intersecting at some point in the future and
definitely
having a big book, kind of like almost like a team book? I don't know if these guys would make a great team, but I could see them allying themselves towards a greater evil, you know, against a greater evil. Do we ever get to vote? Will you ever let us vote on what character you'll do next? Because you'll have to do a masquerade story.
Oh yeah, dude. I have
like if he lets us vote.
Oh,
so that's cool and all, but I know people out there want that masquerade book. I know I'm one of them sitting there going, show me that. That's such a great character. But all of them really are in their own right. They make very interesting characters for stories, and I would love to dig into each one even deeper. The way that you brought the villain into the forefront here in the Silhouette to make that an intense and exciting story, I really enjoy. Because like I said, in the first one, I was like, well, he's kind of invincible. But why don't you take us through the campaign itself? How did you design this, the campaign page, and who came up with the tiers?
Yeah, so design, kind of just going off of my previous campaigns. You know, they seem to work well for us. And like when people ask me to go over their campaigns, the things I'm really looking at is how much time it takes to read it, right? What I'm kind of looking for is you have your blurb at the top, which you saw, and then some art. You know, the art is long, right? It's, you know, it's a good length, so it continues the person that's looking at it to scroll down and still look at our art. So you want the art on the, in my opinion, you want the pages to force whoever's looking at your campaign to go lower and lower. You know, and maybe you see I have a little bit of descriptions there, something that's describing what they're looking at, letting the reader know what's going on there. And that's been working for us. I think it's a good way to set up your campaign. And then the perks, it was, you know, just me talking to my brother about what we think would be cool and pricing things very similar to how we have in the past.
Will there be a cup?
For the lost pages?
No, there's not a cup for the lost pages. That's a Magic Hop thing. Are you going to do something similar though? Are you going to give us a cool piece of merch that kind of like identifies? Or are we going to like stick with the shirt and the stickers and stuff and just do like a variety of things?
So we're going to add some perks when we extend the campaign, and we might get an exclusive Lost Pages scroll because people seem to like those
magic scrolls or
magic scrolls. I think it's a cool way to display art. So we'll have an exclusive piece of art that is going to be on a scroll drawn by an awesome CG creator that people may have seen already.
Hey, Sim, what's going on? And we also got Sumathori up in the chat. How's it going, guys? Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, I think there are a lot of different merch options available to you if you were to kind of like lean into a more signature thing for one of the Lost Pages books. Absolutely. I love the cup for Magic Hop too. It's just so freaking clever. Yeah, and no one's doing a cup. I have my cups. I drink out of them all the time. They're huge. They're wonderful. You know, I have my entire afternoon, you know, beverage in that cup.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, like that's synonymous with the book. You know what I mean? Like it's such a signature piece of merch. It was like passion for drawing, doing the pencil case.
Yeah.
The book just kind of gets known for that, and it really stands out. So I think you have a lot of opportunities to do something like that with the Lost Pages because you have so many different characters, and you can really pull off of one of those genres and make a neat piece of merch. I'd love to see that. So are there any stretch goals you want to tell us about? You want to put the
I just went back up toward well, I was at the stretch goals, but I thought we were going to talk about the perks, so I jumped back up, and I didn't want to give everyone.
But it's like, not on the screen.
I understand.
I can pull it up because
you have to put it on the screen.
It's right. It's there. All you have to do is hit that.
Okay, good. All right. So, why don't you tell us about the stretch goals? Where are we at right now in the campaign? First of all. What are you doing?
I was just at the stretch goals. And
this is not my fault.
But it jumped once I added it in. That's weird.
And I did. Oh yeah, look at this. So these are the stretch goals, which are super fun. You know, we just unlocked the newest one at 16K. But so just to run through them, so everybody knows what they'll be getting when they back this. When we hit 100 backers, everybody unlocked this silhouette theme song that Vasto Vlad did an awesome job composing. You guys could hear it in the trailer. Very much inspired by kind of a pulpy feel like The Shadow. And then when we hit 150 backers, we unlocked a bookmark, which the awesome Doug Mankey let us use one of the image from the trailer as the bookmark. So that's cool. Kick-ass.
Is that on here?
It's in the trailer. I'll also put it in the
We should probably look at that trailer because, you know, I've said it once, I'll say it 100 times. Trailers don't sell comics, but if you're pulling an image out of the trailer to use it as a bookmark, that will totally sell the comic right there because it's a bookmark.
Actually, I can.
And you have stickers. You have both. So why don't we set up the trailer real quick?
Yeah, I have to play it through the campaign page because
is that a problem?
I was just letting you know it wasn't loading into StreamYard.
All right, that's fine. I believe in you. I believe you can do it.
Yes, I'm gonna go big.
Yeah, and go to the top, hit the home button.
And
press
do
that, and then hit the play button and make it large. Awesome.
The trailer.
From Zaid Comics comes The Lost Pages 2. This time we follow the Silhouette, our ghostly avenger who brings justice to the streets of Chicago. Ever searching his haunted past while chasing a new supervillain, El Dorado. The golden menace whose powers rival the city's Avenger. But the minds of the scum and the souls of the vile know nothing of the darkness shrouded within the Silhouette. Only on Indiegogo.
Whew,
Sorry,
bruh,
listening
that
to music.
voice acting is
What
chilling.
happened? What is going on?
I
I
love
don't
it.
understand what's happening. There
It's
we go.
so dramatic. It's
Maybe
wonderful.
Ryan should not have
okay, I
had
don't know what you're
faith in
doing
me.
now.
It's like, I believe in you. No, that was misplaced.
You so you wrote the script for that, obviously, and you did the narration.
Yeah.
It was very, very dramatic. What were you going for with that trailer? Were you going for that like noir feel? Tell me your thought process behind it.
Sure. I wanted to keep it fairly quick. When I was working with Doug on, he did the animation for the trailer. Amazing guy, awesome artist. And he asked me how long I wanted it to be. I said maybe like a minute. And he nailed it on there. And that was all I had to do, was really just describe what was going on and try to kind of make it sound cool. Because the images is just
sarcasm.
So awesome. The soundtrack that Bosto made. All I had to do was just tell people what was going on in kind of a cool way, and then edit it together. It was really funny. I was up until like 7 a.m, the day of launch, editing that trailer together.
That's what happens when you make your own trailers.
Yeah, the same thing with
they don't go the way you
ours.
planned.
Like,
You have to finish them the day of. So
Mhm.
Christian Fandom Geek wants to know, is the Silhouette an anti-hero?
Is he an anti-hero? I would say he's, the best way I could describe him is a supernatural vigilante. He is dispensing justice. He sees the world literally in black and white. And if you're someone that's doing bad things, then he's going to do bad things to you. If you're hurting other people, he sees his city around him as just a shithole, for lack of a better term. And he's the only thing that stands in the way, in between those innocent people and evil.
The city, yeah,
Right.
But he's I don't know if he's an anti-hero, because anti-hero would imply more like a villain that does good things sometimes, but not necessarily for good reasons, like Vegeta.
I would say he's not an anti-hero because he doesn't have any selfishness in him. He doesn't really care about himself at all. His goal in his mind is to rid the streets of crime. He wonders about who he is and stuff, and that almost never gets in the way of his goal. And maybe it'll give him a hiccup. Like, and there's parts in this book where he has flashes of his past, and that may be a detriment to himself because he's not focused on what he's doing. But it's not like he needs money or food to live. This guy is
right.
He's
living shadow.
Yeah.
Noah said, you can tell Phil still had the chops when he did the voiceover, because currently you could never manage that high T dramatic performance without those mutton chops, man. Those side
that could be it.
So
did you want me to add your screen to that?
Yeah, I can actually show
anyway.
you the stretch goals. So this is the image that is going to be made into the bookmark. And you get a high resolution of that.
Cool.
So yeah, Doug killed it on that. I think that's really cool. And as well as the bookmark, we also unlocked this first trading card.
It looks like Batman.
Nice.
Yeah. So this is the first of a series of trading cards we'll be doing over the next few campaigns. and each of them will be with the character that the book is about, drawn in this style by the awesome artist Rick Sellis. He hits that animated series style. So
Very cool.
this is going to be a long line of trading cards that people can look forward to in the future.
I think that's fantastic. I love that image
Yeah.
right there. It reminds me of Batman the Animated Series.
Oh yeah,
Like
for
straight
sure.
up with the eyes and the pose and
Mhm.
everything about that. I also love the trench coat with that popped collar and the
a good
guns.
look.
It's just such a good look, man. You have such a
So
cool
fun.
character.
Um,
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
jealous.
and
I'm
then
gonna have to steal it, right, Noah?
So then this is another stretch goal. Everybody's going to be getting this Madball sticker that Shelby Robertson designed and drew up, colored, of Crim. Just a lot of fun there. So everybody's getting that. And then the newest one is this trading card that unlocked at 16,000 of Taz. Super fun. Really wanted to focus on her. Maybe in the future we'll do a Crim solo trading card as well. But we do have a print for the next stretch goal, which I think we're going to be unlocking at 18,000. And if you don't mind me showing it off here, I think that'd be
Yeah,
cool.
no, that'd be great.
So this is a
That'd be
print
awesome.
by Matt Dalton. Look at that. This is
Nice.
going to be sick. So
That's
kind
awesome.
of mirroring that trading card of Taz. But we really wanted to print this out big for everybody. So it's going to be probably comic size. And if we hit 18K, then we're going to be unlocking this one. Really
Very
sick.
cool. That's really
So
nice.
Sumathori says Silhouette is a cool name, but it's hard to spell. Dude, I know. I can't spell. Every time I try and type this thing, I get the little red underline. And it's hard to use in casual conversation. What do his friends call him? And I mean, there's two answers to this. One, it's obvious, silly. They call him silly. Or two,
Not
the
true.
Silhouette doesn't have friends.
Well, hopefully soon he'll have some friends. He might be meeting some other characters very soon. But
Do they
the way
call him
I
silly?
No, no one calls him silly. Nor will anyone call him silly.
Including you.
But
No, it says Neff can't even spell that right. It's true.
it's true. But the way I refer to him in script, when I'm talking about the character, trying to convey things to my artist, is I just put Sil, S-I-L. So maybe someone will refer to him as that.
Yeah, 'cause
Sil.
it's a pain in the ass to write that out. I know. I was working with Dillard on our backup, and the characters have ethnic names. They have traditional Mongolian names.
Oh,
and
cool.
it was kind of hard for us to keep track of who was who. So we shortened it to the Kid, Bald Guy, Stone Cold, and Rob Stark, because those were the primary attributes. Stone Cold was, he's bald. He looks like Stone Cold Steve Austin. But it was what Dillard wanted when I rewrote the script with him, where I did the edits for the sequentials. So you seem to be coasting through crowdfunding pretty effortlessly at this point. You make it look easy, is what I mean. What's the secret behind your success so I can copy? I mean, you can tell us. What's the secret behind your success?
I think a super important thing for crowdfunding is, of course, the promotion. Everybody knows that. But also, and I think this is why it seems to come so easy to me, is the online community aspect. I come from a background of kind of like online subcultures. I come from the fighting game community, so I would go to fly out to different tournaments all over the US. I would do commentary all the time on streams on Twitch. So I think that's why I seem comfortable on camera talking online. But that community aspect is really something that I love. And I loved that from back then when we'd be on just forums, like being on this forum, Test Your Might, for just the Mortal Kombat community, and being a mod on there. So that aspect where it's like, oh, I have friends that are in the UK that I see maybe once a year at a tournament, but they know all the inside jokes that I know because they watch the same stuff as me. And when I got into back into comics through crowdfunding, I kind of left that side of the internet and saw that CG was a huge, had huge similarities to that, you know, where it's people that I haven't met, but I see them every day in the chat. It's really, really cool. So I think that is just a comfort zone for me. And I believe that new people trying to crowdfund, they should really try to get comfortable in that as well. You know, make friends in the chat, have a good time on these streams. There's so many different streams you can go into if you want different aspects. You want to see someone drawing, you could watch Shelby draw, you know, almost every day on his channel. If you want to see people making asses of themselves, you got the Jack
You can
Show.
come here. Yeah, we can go check it out. Jack Show.
You got,
Jack Show's in Jack Show tonight.
Yes, yeah, I think it's on Anna's channel. But yeah, there's I think that's a huge part, and people shouldn't look at it as a job because it's fun, you know. Well, you know, maybe some people do, and that might be a wrong reason to be getting into this. If you're in the chat and you think it's exhausting, then that sucks, you know. Then it might not be for you. But that's how I got out there and was able to befriend some awesome people and get on more streams, and to the point where I'm in the chat sometimes and people are like, send Phil the link. He's in the chat. He's available. He could jump on because they want to see me on, which is awesome. I can't thank people enough that
it was the mutton chops. Now they don't want to have you on.
Yeah, that's true.
That's not true. You're always welcome.
Hey, Dory. We also want to say hi to Dave Brink from Genuine Comics. What is up, my dude? Another great creator up in the chat. Perfect 10. Check it out if you haven't. And Dory has a haiku book. We don't have a Frog G right now because Frog is sleeping, but we have links that can be dropped.
I don't think Dory went in demand with her book.
Well, you could still check it out.
You could.
I know Dory's got another book coming out soon.
Oh.
And she also has her YouTube channel. Yeah. So I will be slow, but I will get them up.
Good luck. What is the best part about writing comic books?
The best part about writing comic books is seeing those comic books drawn. You know, I think for me, it's so cool, dude, just to see things come together. And especially now how things are kind of evolving of how we're working on a lot of these stories, because we worked with so many artists on the first one, it was just such a blast working with them that I hired them to do behind the scenes work on this book. So if you're seeing those pages of the silhouette, those were actually laid out by Alan Alonso, who did the art on The Masquerade for the first book.
Yep.
So he's still, he's amazing. And his layouts are phenomenal. So he has his fingerprint on every page of the book. And then Maxie comes on and goes over it and lays the finishes on top. So we're still working with even more artists than you could physically see when you read the book, because there's people doing breakdowns and layouts. If you could pull up my screen here, this is another great example of, this is the ash can we're doing. It's a 20-page ash can that's kind of
so good.
Different work.
So good.
Thank you. So yeah, this is phenomenal cover.
Look at that perspective. It's so good.
So cool. And, you know, coming at a time where Superman gets truth, justice, and the American way ripped from him, I think this is a perfect character to kind of lead with, because I like to say the people brings truth, justice, and some American pain when he's beating down bad guys. But this is a total collaborative process. It's something new we're doing with these ash cans. So if you're a fan of our work and are looking forward to this and maybe some of the next projects that are coming out, this is actually a serialized story. So this is the first in 3
That's awesome.
issues.
I love serialized stuff. So you could just jump in.
Yeah. So this is going to be the first part. There's going to be 2 more ash cans after this, and they're 20 pages each. And it's going to be traditional ash can sized, black and white, with this kick-ass red cover. And I wanted to show you what we're doing with this. Dan did the pencils to this cover. Joe Ball did the inks, which was phenomenal. But Dan is also doing the breakdowns, laying out the pages, and then Avery is going in and bringing them to life here. So here's a double page spread from that.
Very
Avery is killing it. It's just so fun. A little change of pace, more of a mystery story. He's tracking down a serial killer here. You get introduced to the people who's a courtroom sketch artist and brawler. So check out this
So
action.
good.
Wait, he's a sketch artist and brawler?
Yeah, so he's a courtroom sketch artist by day. You know.
Oh, okay. I thought
your identity.
Nice.
But my dumbass went to like sketch cards. Like he does sketch cards and then beats the shit out of people. I was like, that's pretty awesome. Have you told Passion about this? Go talk to Rob about, drawing sketch cards and then kicking the crap out of people. Dave Brink wants to know if you sometimes doubt your own writing. But before that, I just wanted to tell Sumo, yes, the best part of making comics is the groupies, but be very careful with those groupies because they will get you into trouble, my friend.
Noah also says
And
he
it's-
likes how the ashcan cover is red.
And Noah
Very
also
cool.
said that it's not possible for Phil to get groupies without those mutton chops. But back
I
to
missed
Dave's
that.
question. Do you sometimes doubt your own writing?
Sure.
That
It was
3-panel right there. Go back up. Go.
I
so
don't
good, right?
control this.
That right there is so good. Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
they just killed it. Like that buildup of tension and the expressiveness of these faces. It's awesome. I can't wait for you guys to see the page after this because it's pretty kick-ass. But going back to Dave's question, yes, doubt was really big before I had put anything out because as a writer, it's so hard to get that instant feedback, right? The artist is so much in the forefront in comics, which they should be, because that's what everybody's seeing. So I try to, I guess, ways around that is writing your scripts. I really love playing with panel layouts and kind of suggesting what to do in the script to kind of help the artist, and having that as a collaborative effort as well is great. But when Magic Cop 1 came out and the subsequent books, getting those reviews, and I praise all the readers out there that do reviews, and actually hearing that people dug the stuff and wanted more of it, that's when you get that, I guess, affirmation that you're doing something that people dig. So that's really cool. So if you're a writer out there and you're kind of discouraged or scared of how well a story is going to be, you could show it around to friends or people that are other creators that are going to tell you like it is, or just wait until the thing comes out because people are going to let you know if they like it or not.
Yeah, or if you want to like put it out professionally, you could hire one of the several editors that are kind of floating around the Comicsgate community right now. We got quite a few of those, but I agree with you. Like, it's good to get someone else's eyes on your stuff before, if you're doubting yourself, if you're doubting whether or not what you've put together is solid, it's always good to get other perspectives. Not everyone's going to know, how to help, and not everyone's going to have great feedback and advice. They might just have an opinion, but nevertheless, it's always useful. I want to say hi to Pale Writer. He's given us the red dress up in the chat. I know Sim was in here before. It's just a matter of time before we drag Sugar Chris in here one day.
And Sumathori says it must be so gratifying to put something good out there in print, like your legacy.
I wouldn't know.
Because it's not printed yet, but soon. Very soon. Soon, yes.
Yes, soon, friends. So is there anything you want to tell people out there, maybe some words of encouragement or advice for the viewers?
Sure. Yeah. If you're a up and coming writer and want to get into comics, I think some of the most important things in comic writing are pacing, that page to page moments that really make a difference in a story that may not be conscious in the reader, but it helps them have a great time when reading. And I think a couple of great exercises that I did was write shorter stories, like 4 to 6 page stories. Because if you take a look at the supplemental book we did for the first campaign, those stories were 4 pages each. And someone like Michael Bancroft said that he loved that book even more so than the main book because he was able to read them quick. You get that glimpse of the character, and that really helped me kind of daisy chain those story aspects together into moments and do a 24, 48, 75 page story from those smaller ones. And then
the Tales of the Lost Pages was very satisfying. I got to say, I did dig it more than I enjoyed the main book, and that's saying a lot because the main book was a lot of fun. And I had a good time with it. Dave wants to let you know that if you ever want someone to check out your work or collaborate with, he'd be happy to work with you. That's high praise coming from Dave Brink.
Hell
I haven't gotten an offer to work with Dave Brink. Fine. I see how it is.
Well, no, when you can't spell.
Yes, that was great. Well, you can't spell.
But, everybody in the met online and in CG has been super supportive and really wanting to help out. And I love helping the community and as much as I can. Kimosabi is an awesome editor and writer himself, and both of these stories for this campaign, I ran past him and he had great advice and tips even for this people story, ideas that we're gonna intertwine in here as well.
It's funny you say that. I brought Lee on to do a story with us. It's
awesome.
It's almost like that observation is something that I copied. I mean, discovered it myself. Yeah,
I can't wait to see that, man. If I could, can I show off one new page that we have?
Man. We'd love that. So, thank you.
No one's seen this before. This is
it's an exclusive. Yay, channel exclusive.
And it's our collaboration almost to its fullest extent, because on one page we have I think this is 6 panels, and 4 are done by Avery and 2 are done by Matt. So this is
I'm gonna have Avery on one of these days. He was a little too busy to color for Dillard this time, but he's a great colorist.
He's awesome. So this is right after we see Taz for the first time come through that jewelry store, and the kid is freaked out. He's like, "Who's that?" And he's pointing at Taz, but he's actually sees Krim. Because children can see the imaginary friends. So
that's cool.
Yeah. So you got Krim kicking ass, grabbing this guy, throwing him through the air, switches back to Taz, and then this punch, one panel, 2 artists working on one panel.
That faded out shot is really nice too. I love the translucence on it.
I really like the shape of the panels too. It actually helps you follow it feels like you're seeing the action and the motion, and you're following it through. Like you got knocked this way, and then here comes the punch in the other direction. I really appreciate that.
I was just talking to Jeremy Theveno, the other Zaid Studios, about Atomo and how in Akira he does the same thing with his paneling. Like he helps make the what's it called? On the layout of the page, it's the way that the eye is guided across.
Yeah,
the flow. Flow. Thank you very much. How the panel composition works to enhance flow.
Yeah, that's really great. Really I like that. And I like how it's really good. Where he's like almost like hitting the
Ollie is what's up? We also had a what about in the chat. I don't know if you saw that earlier, if we said hi, but he did say it's all about the people. I agree. The people is going to be huge, especially now in the era of taking that slogan away from Superman. We need to get back to some of that pride in that, the American way. So the people's going to be big.
Yeah, that's a great page.
Yeah, it is a very good page.
Thank you.
Really love the translucence. Hey, no problem, man. Thank you for showing it.
That's awesome.
We're not going to stop you from showing cool stuff on our channel. So we have your social media in the description. We linked the campaign. Is there anything you want to say to people before we go?
I would say the only thing, if you guys are not subscribed to my YouTube channel, my brother and I's YouTube channel, it's Zaid Comics. So you guys could just Google Zaid Comics, or on YouTube, just search Zaid Comics. You'll find the channel. We do streams every Monday night. I also do streams similarly to this show where I interview, have other creators on. And then, I just hang out there. We make videos too. We do updates about the book. So you'll see exclusive stuff over there. And as well as please back this. We have, what is it, 3 days left to the campaign. Let me see here. Yeah, 3 days left, and we're almost, if we get to that 18,000 mark, everybody is going to be getting this print with their book as well. This is going to be printed in the book too, but this is going to be, the bigger size print that you'll be getting, as well as there's a stretch goal coming up for an exclusive trading card by artist Kenneth Rocafort. So
Nice.
Jealous. All right. And on that note, get off my channel. I mean, well done. You couldn't have picked a better guy. Yeah, it's very, very cool. Very excited. Mo says, then you will love Phil's channel, Sumathori, because Sumathori likes Lobo.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be it for us tonight. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell for notifications.
And tune into the frequency.
We will see you next time.